All right, and welcome to On the Bench with Big Jim. This is Jim Nielsen, and today uh, want to congratulate. Good morning, Rick and Lisa. Good to see you guys here. Good morning, Dwayne. Um, and I'm glad you're here, Dwayne, because you can hear this. I wanted to congratulate the Moses Lake High School wrestlers this morning. We had 4 young men from the Moses Lake Chiefs wrestling team went over to the state freestyle and Greco-Roman championships in Centralia this last weekend and came away with 8 medals. Well, actually 10 if you want. We had a young man wrestle in both cadet and juniors, and he doubled up. But we want to congratulate these young men, Hunter White, Maximus Zamora, Cruz Vasquez, and Saul Villa. All 4 of these young men have qualified themselves to be on the Washington national team that wrestles in July back in Fargo, North Dakota. And it's traditionally just called Fargo. And it's a very big tournament. All the wrestlers around the country go there, and if you do well there, good things await you. Good morning, Zach. How are you doing? Congratulations on your weekend in Nebraska. We had Washington's state championships this last weekend. 4 kids from our club here in town, 4 kids that wrestle for the Moses Lake Chiefs, qualified for nationals. So we're pretty happy. It's been a while since Moses Lake has had multiple qualifiers to go to qualify for Fargo. So we're really excited about it, and we are going to be doing some fundraising. And if you are interested in supporting the Moses Lake kids, you can contact myself or Dwayne Zamora or Jason White, and we can get the checks should be written out to the Moses Lake Freestyle Wrestling Club, and all of the funds that we raise will go to getting these kids to these national tournaments and to the national training camps that will be coming up here shortly. It's a great opportunity. The standards are high. You have to finish in the top of your weight class to be able to qualify, to be able to go to Fargo. And all of these young men from Moses Lake have done that, and we're surely proud of these kids' effort to get there, and we want to support them in the best we can. So if you have the means, we would certainly appreciate any type of donation that you can afford. Just an announcement: I have a YouTube channel now, and so all of the shows will be uploading them to YouTube. And I've been going back and uploading my past shows, so all of them could be on there, and trying to build an audience there. So if you can go to the little introduction to today's show, you can find the link to the On the Bench with Big Jim YouTube channel, and please subscribe. That would help me, and I would certainly appreciate it. Something really quick that I've been anticipating for all weekend, but Beat the Streets, the Battle at the Garden, Madison Square Garden, is hosting the Beat the Streets, and there'll be 13 matches this evening, and some of them are set up really exciting. It's going to be some exciting wrestling. We talked with Israel Silva on Friday, and his coaching teammate Joe Colon will be wrestling this evening. Takes on Soriano, the national champion from Rutgers. So we're excited. we are excited to see that, and then obviously the key marquee matchup is Jordan Burroughs and Ben Askren. So that's going to be a lot of fun this evening, and we'll talk about the outcome on Wednesday. But today, I have some birthdays that I wanted to wish happy birthdays. Cesar Rios. Cesar was a year younger than me. His brother George was my grade, but Cesar is another year older today. So I wanted to wish Cesar Rios a happy birthday, and a gentleman that does the outboard boat racing here in Moses Lake, Darren Goring. He's from the west side of the state, and he's having a birthday today. So happy birthday, Darren. Ruben Orozco, who is a big-time wrestling guy, is having a birthday. So happy birthday, Ruben. One of our chiropractors in town, Grant Cox, is having a birthday today. So if you know Dr. Cox, make sure you wish him a happy birthday. Good morning, Karen. Good to see you here. Congratulations on both of your boys winning some state titles, and that's so awesome that your older son Tanner was able to wrestle one last time with his little brother. So that's a cool moment for your family, and I want to congratulate you. I can't imagine how proud you are. Your young son going off to wrestle in college and to serve the country. That's a great thing. Another birthday, one of our eye doctors here in town, Tim Thomas, is having a birthday. So happy birthday, Tim. And then a young lady that I went to school with, Rhonda Gent Price. She married one of my classmates, but Rhonda is having a birthday today. So happy birthday, Rhonda. And then Yvonne Zucker is having a birthday as well. So I wanted to wish all those people happy birthday. Before we got started with today's visit. Marc Kaye, a good friend of mine, he's traveling from Montana. Hopefully he's through the mountains, and so he's going to call this morning, and we're going to visit because he is the director of the Gut Check Challenge. It's a high school wrestling tournament that has become Porter only took third. I misunderstood, but that's cool. Porter will follow in Tanner's footsteps, and that's going to be a great thing. But anyway, the Gut Check Challenge, it's one of the premier wrestling tournaments here in the Northwest, and it's in part due to the guy that started this all. His name's Marc Kaye. Mark and I were on the coaching staff of the first Orca team that went down to Oregon to wrestle. Well, actually, we went down to California and wrestled the California and the Oregon All-Star teams. And that's how Mark and I met and got to know each other and became friends. He's a very busy guy, and he wasn't going to be able. He's going to be traveling because his work wasn't going to be able to do the on the Facebook thing, and so I was just going to have him call in, and hopefully he's getting through the mountains and is going to be able to call in and to be with us today. But I appreciate you all being here, and I'm curious as to what you guys were able to do this weekend. I was able to get lots of stuff done here in my home. We have a busy summer coming up, and I can't share. I'm not supposed to share some of our exciting activities that are coming up, but looking forward to this summer, and I hope everybody else is looking forward towards the summer as well. Wednesday's show, just to let everybody know, Wednesday's show is probably going to be in the afternoon, because I'm going to be starting something new, but I'm still going to be doing the show, but they'll probably be coming around in the afternoons now, and which is fine, because there's no I have some other things coming up, but so I look forward to be able to doing that. My friend told me he would be available in 5 minutes, so I'm looking through who's here and watching, and I'm wondering if anybody has anything interesting to share. And I should probably bring Zach on camera so we can talk about some of your guys's. Zach, if you're still watching, give me a thumbs up. And good morning, Andy Cook. I'm just curious, because we have an India wrestler wrestling in the matches today. Are you going to be in New York? So that would be cool if that were the case, because you were able to do Bollywood and Hollywood, which is a Beat the Streets event, with the Indian women's team against the United States team, and Marang is wrestling tonight at Madison Square Garden. You'll just be watching. Okay, then we'll watch together. It's going to be an exciting. Event. It's going to be really late for you, though, or early in the morning for you, isn't it? Because you're all the way across the world. This wrestling event, and I've watched all the. Yeah, I figured you were in India. So the time difference is 12 and a half hours, which sounds crazy to me. But the wrestling world hasn't seemed to slow down. As we visited with Israel Silva, it's going to be 4 o'clock in the morning, last Friday, which was, I'm so appreciative of Coach Silva being able to visit with us. He was able to give us kind of an insight of what it is to be a college wrestling coach, and he's doing such a great job. And we want to wish his coaching partner, Joe Colon, on the Fresno State Bulldog Wrestling coaching staff, the best of luck. And I watched the interview between the Steiner brothers, but they were together in a track wrestling interview, talking about the one coach, the one Steiner that coaches Fresno State, and the other Steiner that coaches the USA Women's team, and how they're able to work together and help each other, and very cool. But because Terry's been with the USA Women's Wrestling for a long time, and Troy's been running excuse me, the Fresno State program for a couple years now. It's a great collaboration. It was a very enjoyable interview, and the sport is it gives back, and I grew up in the same club in Everett. Yeah, Coach Izzy is a great guy, and it was awesome to have him on last Friday. And as I said, that video is on YouTube. So if it's easier for you guys to find these videos on YouTube, be my guest. It's the exact same video. I didn't do any editing, and I probably won't do any editing. But as you know, wrestling has done a lot of good for a lot of people, and it is a great sport. And I think a lot of us feel that it's underappreciated and under televised and under promoted. And I don't know if we have a chip on our shoulder. I think it's valid, in my opinion. The time and the effort it takes to get to that level of wrestling it's hard to explain, and it's hard to unless you've seen it, unless you've been a part of it. And I've had the fortune to be a part of it. I've been on many trips. Been to Europe and Uzbekistan and Russia and Poland. It's amazing to see the sacrifice these guys go through to be able to get to this level. And a lot of the guys that I was fortunate enough to be able to become friends with and travel with are still giving back to the sport and coaching and helping. Zach Dominguez, he's a perfect example. He was on a couple of the trips that I was on, and now he runs a big club in Nebraska, and they have lots and lots of success with their kids going to national teams and world teams. And that's what's great about the sport, is people giving back. I think it's just innate in the nature of the great sport we have, and it's I know it's changed and affected my life and helped my sons. Both of my sons had the opportunity to go to Fargo, and neither of them did anything as far as they weren't able to win, just because the talent there is tremendous. But for me, I felt that it was important that they each had the opportunity to experience the craziness of the level of competition that's there, and they both did, and they both had that experience, and I think they were better for it. Something that Ben Askren said. Ben Askren is an MMA. He's undefeated in MMA, and he was a multi national champion, and he was on the Olympic team in wrestling, but he transitioned to MMA. And he in the interview in the press conference yesterday, they opened it for questions, and Jordan Burroughs was in the back, and that's who his opponent is. And he asked him what he was going to tell his kids when he goes home, the kids that he coaches, when he gets home, after he's going to take the whipping that Jordan was going to give him. And it was a fun question, and Ben says, that's easy. He goes, my kids, I've been working with these kids for almost 10 years now, and none of them have seen me lose. I have not lost since I started my club. And Ben was telling the story, and he said that he was trying to console one of his kids one time after a tough loss at a tournament, and the kid said to him, "You don't know what I'm feeling. How can you know what I'm feeling? You've never lost." And he said, it's not about winning or losing. It's about challenging yourself to take on a challenge. And in this case, in this particular case, Ben Askren is highly or heavily the underdog, and Jordan Burroughs is, way out ahead as far as people thinking that he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and he's favored to win. And Ben said, it's the challenge. It's going and taking the challenge, and then if you lose, then you figure out what you need to do, and you try to get better. it's not always about winning and losing. Askren. And we are now joined via phone line with my good friend, Marc Kaye. How are you today, Marc?
Hey, Jim. Good morning. How are you?
I'm going to ask my listeners if they can hear. Hopefully you guys can hear all of this. And we're going to have a visit. Marc is the director of the Gut Check Challenge, which is a high school wrestling tournament that's first weekend in January, typically, and that's where it's set this next year, is it not?
Say that again, Jim?
The
first weekend in January?
Yeah.
That's correct.
That's correct. And you guys are in the ShoWare Center in Kent, Washington now. But you guys have built... How many years have you guys been doing the Gut Check Challenge?
This past season was our completed 6th year.
6th year of the Gut Check Challenge. And you and I had... you were on the bench with Big Jim just recently. Andy Cook says hello, by the way.
Hey, Andy.
And we talked about the Gut Check Challenge and how people have designated it as a tournament that they can list as a tournament that they've won to or placed at to show how good a wrestler they are. And the reason why I say that is when you have an all-star meet or you have you have to fill out a bio because you're in the finals to describe your wrestling career. Kids put down, oh yeah, I took first in district, first in regional, first in state, and then they name some other tournaments. Tri-state tournament, I was a champion of tri-state tournament, and then they say I was the Gut Check Challenge champion, and that gives credence to the quality of the tournament. And kids this year, I don't know how many, but a lot of the kids mentioned that they were Gut Check Challenge champions at the Orca Duels that I went and broadcasted earlier this year. And so that's kind of I don't know, that's a feather in your cap. Or how do you feel about kids designating the Gut Check as one of their premier wins or placings on their bio?
Well, listen, it's a great feeling for the kid. I think probably more than myself as a director or our tournament staff. You know, when we started this thing, everyone looked at me like I was crazy when I said I'd like to have one of the most premier tournaments in the country, and we had to prove ourselves locally first. And you know, thanks to all the coaches and ADs and schools and parents and wrestlers really in Washington, Oregon, the Northwest, for giving us a try and really making it what it is, because that's why it's such a good tournament, is because the competition level each and every year gets significantly better. And the fact that these kids want to or list us as you know, so to speak, as on their resume, whether it's for colleges or whether it's for national tournaments, that's a big deal for us. And you know, we're rapidly growing. I mean, going into our 7th year, you know, we did not know if we were going to be at this spot. We were hoping to be, and you know, these kids really earn the title of Gut Check Placer or Champion, because it is extremely tough to compete there. I mean, it's I'm so happy for them that they're able to mention us and they feel proud. As a matter of fact, I'll throw a little something out there. It made me feel really good. John Snedeker from Union, great father, great coach.
Yeah.
And obviously we've had some great Snedekers compete in Washington State out of Union High School. This year there was a Gut Check champion, and he earned a belt. And along with that belt, we gave the champions custom-made singlets this year.
Oh, that's great.
What's that?
That's awesome.
Yes. And they're green for Washington State, but they've got our sponsors on it, and it's got an emblem of the Gut Check belt in it, which is super, super cool.
That's awesome.
Well, I found out that I believe it was either Vegas or Reno. He won the finals.
Yeah, and he wore that singlet.
Gut check singlet in the finals.
That's so cool.
And not only were I'm sure people looking at it going, what is that crazy thing? But, he was so proud of winning the gut check that he went to a national event and wore our singlet, and then he won that national event. And I asked his dad to send, John sent me pictures, and we're going to put it on our website because we just thought it was so unique.
Yeah.
A Washington boy doing so well, and we don't want praise. We don't do this for the attention. It's like getting a big warm hug when one of our gut check participants does well and likes to mention it.
That's cool. That's a very cool thing, Mark.
It's super cool.
That's very cool for you. Well, today we've talked gut check plenty, but and I could talk gut check all the time. But you wanted to share with my listeners and our following that we have here on the bench with Big Jim, a special announcement about this next year's tournament. Do you want to go ahead and share that now?
Yes, please. I thank you for allowing us to share this with the wrestling community through your Facebook Live program. And I figured this would be a great way to get it out to the wrestling community in Washington and the Northwest. But as mentioned, each and every year we're trying to get more competitive. The basis of our tournament are the top teams in the Northwest and especially Washington. But we are always looking to go outside and around the U.S. to bring in the top teams. Last year we were a little disappointed. We had a couple top 10 teams committed, and they ended up not being able to make it. But this year, we've got a commitment from the number one team in the United States, which is Blair Academy. And Blair Academy is excited. They've already made announcements to their following. I've been receiving calls nonstop from coaches around the country that found out at Flow Nationals a couple weeks ago. The fact that Blair is coming to the gut check is a really big deal. It's a big deal. I know that their level of wrestling that they have year in and year out, their coaching staff, those wrestlers are just phenomenal. And the fact that they'd be willing to give us a shot, like what we're doing and the direction we're going and the competition, that's a really big deal for Washington wrestling, for the Northwest, and obviously for the gut check to have Blair Academy attend.
That is outstanding, Mark. I'm so excited for you to be able to have a team that pretty much everybody, everybody kind of has them at the top. That is a great thing, and that will make the gut check challenge that much tougher. That's an awesome announcement.
Yes, thank you. I'm giddy. This is 7.5, 8 years ago when I first threw this idea out to Phil and to the board members, and said I'd like to make this a premier event. This is what I was dreaming of. I can't compete in the tournament, so just watching these kids is kind of, me living vicariously through them. And then when you get the number one team in the country to buy into what you're doing, and like you mentioned, Blair can write their own ticket. They can pick and choose any tournament in the United States that they want to compete at. They've been at the Geary, Oklahoma tournament for years during our weekend, and that's a very incredibly tough tournament, one of the top in the country. And the fact that Brian Antonelli and his staff and his school, parents and wrestlers want to and are looking forward to coming to the gut check is significant. I've had some breakdown moments emotionally in the past month or so that it's been solidified, knowing and it's an amazing. I can't wait for the Washingtonian fans to be able to see up live and in person this type of competition. We have guys that we know can compete against them, and we're excited to showcase that. And that's what this is really all about. This is Washington's tournament, and New Jersey is going to be represented by Blair Academy. So we're extremely excited. And I got to be honest with you. Something like this really opens the doors for the gut check. We work really hard all year long in recruiting teams and selling what we're doing and showing the competition we've had. But coming to our event has created open doors, and I still have probably a dozen phone calls to make just from last week alone from coaches around the country that are trying to get to the gut check to get on the mat with Blair. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
That's so cool. I'm excited for you, because if this is my personal opinion as far as a coach's mentality. If you're wanting your kids to get better, you want them to go and face the toughest competition, so that when it comes down to the really important matches of the year, which are your district, regional, and state tournaments, they are prepared by having gone through the gauntlet. Iron sharpens iron, and everybody's going to want to go to the gut check now just to see if their kids can match up or wrestle with the best. And as I was talking earlier about what Ben Askren said in the news conference for Beat the Streets yesterday. I don't know if you watched that or not, but it's about the challenge. It's about getting better. And when you gut check provide a tough quality tournament to go to, it's a pretty cool thing. And I do remember, and this is a personal thing, but Hunter Cruz was a state champion his senior year, and he was already a state champion. He won a state tournament his junior year. And one of the things that he said, one of his goals was to win the gut check, because he didn't win it his junior year, and that was the only thing he hadn't won yet. And he'd won tri-state as a junior, he won state as a junior, but he did lose in the gut check his junior year. And so one of his focus points, or goals that senior year, was to win the gut check challenge. And that just tells you right there that it's a tough tournament to battle through, and I don't want to offend Pac Coast Championships, which is a big tournament down in the Vancouver area, but I think your gut check challenge has surpassed the level, and now with Blair Academy announcing, you got to be pretty happy, Mark.
We are, but now there's a standard and a level that's been set, and being of competitive nature, we're worried about focusing on making this next tournament the best tournament we've had. But the year after, I'm already thinking about who else we're going to bring in along with Blair, and how can we keep getting this to be one of the best tournaments in the country. I don't want to fall short of my personal goal, just like you mentioned. Cruz's personal goal was to win the gut check. Same with Danny Snedeker, and they both were able to accomplish that and then do well nationally.
Yeah.
But we're not done. We're some of the best tournaments in the country, are going on 30, 40, 50 years running. They've made a name for themselves, with Dockby, Tri-State, is a neighboring tournament, and I support them fully, 100%. I think it's an amazing tournament, and my goal wasn't to push aside other tournaments in the Northwest. It was to create excitement and hopefully help them build as well, because we're worried about Washington wrestling first and foremost. And as I've said a million times, this is a tournament. This is Washington's tournament, and this is where we all want to see our kids get better, our guys get better, and like you said, iron sharpens iron, and at that level that Blair is at, just like last year, Toppenish, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they hit number 40 nationally. Well, we saw those guys that got checked not only win a team title, but boy, I mean, they were wrestling at such a high level. I was proud to see a nationally ranked team from Washington. I don't know the last time we had that, maybe Tahoma or Lake Stevens a while back. But with that said, I know Jaime likes his kids to see the toughest competition, so they're prepared for postseason as far as Moses Lake goes. And I bring that up because Moses Lake has been with us since year one, and you guys keep coming back and giving your wrestlers an opportunity to get better and showcase themselves. But yeah, we have work to do. In 30 years, you and I should be able to talk again and look back and see where we're at. But this is, I think, a big deal for the state of Washington. I know that the Washington and Northwest fans will really welcome Blair, will really appreciate and applaud what they do and how hard they work to be as successful as they are. In the short time that I've been communicating with their head coach, he is the salt of the earth. What a nice guy Brian Antonelli is. You never know what you're going to expect when you are introduced to a coach at that level, that stature. And he is such a good human being and such a nice guy and a great coach that I'm pretty excited that again, that they chose us. Plus, we should probably add, there is a Washington State connection with Blair, and I don't want to not throw my good buddy Bob Rogers a bone here, because let's be honest, for as many phone calls and all the talking that I like to do, this probably wouldn't have happened without Bob Rogers or Rylan Rogers.
Bob is the dad of Rylan Rogers, who grew up in why is it failing me now? Louis. But no, well, the Roger boys that wrestled at Meade High School, their cousin Rylan grew up in Washington. Correct?
Yes.
And I'm why am I failing at where he went to high school, where he would have gone to high school?
Well, I believe it would have been in the Spokane area. I'm not quite sure exactly where. It could have been Meade as well. But
does Bob lives in Lewiston now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Clarkston, that's what it was. That's the name of it. It's Clarkston. I thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. I was thinking of Clarkston, but I couldn't remember the name. I knew Lewiston, and then I should have remembered Lewiston Clark. Yeah, Rylan would have been a Clarkston wrestler, but he now attends Blair Academy back in New Jersey, and he won as a freshman the national championship for the private school championships that they have. And
actually, let me make a correction.
Okay.
So it's actually a really amazing story, and I think the folks of Washington that have supported Rylan and the Rogers family will really enjoy this. But as a freshman, Rylan was wrestling 160. And he obviously, even as a freshman, it's tough to get on the mat when you've got so many guys ahead of you that are, nationally ranked kids. But at the end of the season, Rylan ended up moving up 2 weight classes to wrestle national high school preps, and which is crazy to even think. I mean, it's tough enough to wrestle at 160 pounds, let alone go up 2 weight classes. Rylan wrestled out of his mind, and as a freshman took 3rd at national high school preps.
At 182?
Classes, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the kid's phenomenal. The kid's phenomenal. And then I understand why. Not only does he come from great pedigree, his dad and family are very supportive. He has a great relationship with Coach Antonelli. And the kid's just, I mean, he's probably going to be one of the best high school wrestlers that we get to see, just like Jordan and Chandler. So he had a tremendous freshman year, and we're really excited to have him back as a Washington boy, because I don't care if he goes to Blair or not. Ryland's a Washington boy through and through, and we'll never let anyone forget that. But you know, they did what they had to do as far as academics and wrestling for him, and it wasn't that they were in any rush to leave Washington State, but Blair happened to be the fit that they needed for what he needed to do. And so we lost a Washington boy temporarily, but I know that Bob's excited to have just to be able to drive down the road to the Showwear Center to be able to watch Blair and his kid wrestle against so many of the Washington guys that wrestled with and competed with Ryland as well.
That's a cool story.
And you know, again, Bob, thank you for your support. I hope he's listening. I'm actually going to be in Washington this summer, and I'm going to take my son to go whitewater rafting with Bob and actually it's his business. He does whitewater rafting, and hopefully Chandler and Ryland will be in town, and I want Ryland and Chandler to rub off on my boy, because they are great kids, and not just wrestling, but just great kids.
Good kids.
It's awesome. It's awesome. If Ryland was wrestling in Washington, he would definitely be at the Gut Check. But now that he's with Blair, they're coming back home, so it works for me.
That's good. That's a very cool thing. Hey, Mark, I know you're traveling on the road. I appreciate the time you've taken to visit with us, and we will definitely keep tabs on this story and how this progresses over the summer.
Hey, perfect. Thank you so much for the time and having us, and I wish all the Washington boys great luck and success this summer. I know this past weekend was state, so good luck to all the Washington boys and girls.
Yep. Hey, thanks, Mark. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Jim. Have a great day.
Take care, buddy, and drive safe, all right?
I will do that. Thanks.
You let me know when you're coming through town.
Bye-bye.
All right, we'll see you. All righty, folks. That was Marc Kaye, the director of the Gut Check Challenge, and he is excited. The announcement is that the number one team in the country, Blair Academy, will bring their high school wrestling team. It's a private school in New Jersey, and they are going to be bringing the team out that first weekend in January to wrestle at the Showwear Center at the Gut Check Challenge. Very, very cool announcement, and that's a cool thing for Washington wrestling, and it's a very cool thing, and I don't know how much more I can say that. Again, a couple things. I want to again congratulate the Washington State kids that qualified for the Fargo team. Moses Lake had 4 of those kids. We'll be doing some fundraising for these young men so that they can get back to Fargo and wrestle just so that they can get better. So that's what it's all about, is getting these kids to become the best wrestlers and the best human beings that we possibly can get them to be. Hunter White, Maximus Zamora, Cruz Vasquez, and Sal Villa, they all placed in both, and they've all qualified to go to Fargo, so that's a really cool thing. Max Morima was a state champion at Cadet 138 in freestyle, and he will be and what I'm thinking, he's going to be representing the cadet team, the Washington team at the Cadet Duels, which are going to be in Spokane this year, starting June 12th. So that's a pretty cool thing. I want to thank my sponsors for being with me. I posted their commercials and their information, their websites online. I appreciate you all being here, being with us, and supporting this podcast. We're going to continue to do it. As I said, Wednesday will most likely be in the afternoon. I will let you know when I determine that. I'll let you know as soon as I possibly can. Andy, Mark wanted me to let you know that we love you and we miss you here in Washington, and we wish you the best of luck there in India and getting ready for the Worlds and your guys' training camp that you guys are in right now. But thanks for watching today, Andy, and you take care. On a serious note, hi Don, how are you doing? It's good to see you here. Thanks, bud. Appreciate you. I'm going to be going to a funeral today, and I just wanted everybody to know that if you love someone, if you love somebody, let them know. And I'm not saying that this person didn't know that she was loved, but you never know when your time's up. And reflecting on funerals and those kind of sorrows, emotional setbacks, know that you're loved. Someone out there loves you, and someone up there loves you. And be kind to those people that you're able to be kind to, because they may need it, nobody may know it. And if you're kind to everybody, then good will come of it. And I want you all to know that I appreciate your support and that you're taking the time to watch. And I hope you guys can share this video so other people can see it. And my goal is to help uplift and inspire folks, not to give up, and to know that there are good people out there, and those good people are trying to do things to help others, make life a better place, make the world a better place for everybody. We need to make sure that we're showing that love. So, because that's what makes things go, and it's what happiness is about. I appreciate you guys being here. Please like and share the video. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. Like and share this video. Please go to my YouTube channel, On the Bench with Big Jim. There is a link in the description of this video. And Frank, thanks for popping in. I just uploaded our conversation on the phone to the YouTube site, and it's up now, so people can go and listen to our conversation that we had, which was, it was an awesome opportunity. Thank you very much for doing that. I want to wish you all a great day, and hopefully you have a good day, and you can make it good for somebody else. And we will see you Wednesday. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.